Only thing that we are when we go in there is a case number and a body that gets warehoused in a box. So many times you're never going to get out. You're never going to, and then if you do, that nobody out here gives a rat's booty about you, and they don't want nothing to do with you. You won't make it. And this is my life, from this fence to that fence to the chow hall to the cell. This is it. This is my world.
I know what it's like to feel abandoned and alone. From 2001 to 2004, my entire family was decimated, and I went through divorce. You don't realize you don't have nothing. Everything that you knew was gone. You know, it hurt for a long time, but you always have to mask that. You know,
there was nothing out there, or nothing that anybody could do for me that could give me hope. I felt bad that I was going to let everybody down. People who loved me, people who were rooting for me, people who would be happy about me getting out. I felt bad that they would die disappointed.
I did, in that 30-year span, there was more than once that I fell into that abyss, that dark abyss where just couldn't see an end, couldn't see a way out. And the thought crossed mine, didn't take any action.
Someone come in with no hope at all to begin with, you know. And, you know, there are, like I said, there are some CDC staff that are trained to look out for those sort of things. And there's some that are not, but for the most part, you know, you can, especially like in the lower levels, like lower level 2, where you live like in a dorm setting, you could literally get lost. Literally lost, not even know it.
Most of the guys hang themselves. You need about 3 inches of space under your body in order to hang yourself. It's very quick, Take a bed sheet and hang yourself. The problem is that for the rational human beings, they're still rational in prison. The logical, rational, coherent human beings, they're prevented from committing suicide because they can't seem to kill themselves. You can't kill yourself. I mean, if you try, I bet you can't kill yourself.
I was making this guy's, they call it a fish kit, which has got toilet paper, bar soap. I didn't put no razors in it, because you have to turn 1 for 1 to get razors, right? And the officer that I knew real well, Mr. Wolf, he's like, "What's up with that?" He goes, "Why didn't you put no razors in the bag?" I go, I got a feeling something's just not right. And my feeling was dead on. Next morning, first watch found the guy sitting over the middle of the floor, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, nobody else around, everybody asleep, and he's sitting there just whacking. Managed to get that, where he found the razor blade, who knows, you know, they're everywhere, but he was just whacking away at himself like it was nothing thing to do. And you try to be observant and stuff like that. You try to watch for things like that, you know.
I remember one guy cutting his wrist with a tuna can lid because they told him they were going to transfer him, and he didn't feel as though he would be able to manage on a different yard. Suicide was one of the things that the last escape. When all options seemed to be gone, when hope was extinguished, or when a family member passed and couldn't bear with the grief and everything else that goes with it.
You can see it, you know what I mean? Because, you know, when you get to witness death, some people it changes irreversibly, you know. I've seen enough of it when I was younger that, you know, it's part of life. To die like that, when it's preventable, it's a tragedy, an absolute tragedy.
It doesn't feel well, and we can empathize and sympathize with the families and stuff, but it just becomes where you're numb to it, where like, oh, there goes Joe, or there goes Bill, or there's another one that ain't gonna make it. So In the beginning, it's shocking. But after seeing it multiple times and after many, many years, it just starts to get numb.
You can see that society doesn't care about these individuals. Even though it costs $60,000 to $65,000 a year to keep a man in prison, they're wearing rags, they're eating slop, they have no life. Why are we doing this? We don't care about them, really. So why not just let them go if they want to go? Why just force it? They're going to die anyway. I believe the individual whose life it is should have the right to decide whether or not to live or die. The first right of an individual is not the right to live, the right to life, it's the right to death. If you don't have the right to death, what good is a right to live? It just doesn't make any sense. I came to this conclusion based on the fact of sitting in Folsom State Prison for the last 25 years of the 42 years that I served and watching people die. And these are my friends. And they ate themselves to death, they hung themselves, they did all sorts of things. I can't find anybody who agrees with my idea of letting people opt out of their sentence. Nobody in the House agrees with me. Nobody, So I don't find any general agreement at all.
Somebody who might have that opportunity to be a good citizen later on. Just have to get through that time, that moment or that period where you're just so down so far, down so deep that you think the only way out is to take your way out. That's not the case. That's not the way to do it. Fight your way through that stuff. Work your way through it. Find friends. Find whatever it is. Find it. Pull yourself up. Because, again, all of the guys that you've met and seen out here, a lot of them are very good and very extremely productive and giving back. They may have thought the same thing as Ron, is that, hey, you know what, possibly I might want to just end it all. Well, if they end it all, then let them do it themselves. Let assisted and helped out, because it takes a lot to do it to yourself, but it's very easy to have somebody help you.
This attorney, by writing that letter against me, he didn't know that he was helping me. And he helped get me out of prison.
Incarcerated individuals, to give them that hope and that inspiration that there is life outside and that it is worth fighting to get out.
Finally, a question that got me dumbfounded. There's so many words. There's so many things to tell the fellas that are stuck behind them walls. I'd for sure tell them the same thing I've said here twice or more than that. That's, man, keep hope alive. Keep hoping and keep working and keep doing whatever it is you find that makes you one step better than you were the day before. Because your time will come. It may not seem it. It may not seem like it's ever going to happen. But you're the ruler of your universe. You're the ruler of your destiny. And if you just keep poking away and plugging away, and your destiny or your determination is to be free, you'll get free. You'll get out.
Realize the impact your actions that you have on others, You're so lost in your addiction that you don't see that you matter, that you mean something to people. And I got the thoughts in my heart and head, you know what? If these others can think so much of me, the very least that I can do to try to help others see themselves through their family's eyes.
for that. You got to keep going there. You got to keep hope, because once hope is gone, everything, I mean, who knows whether you go insane, whether you go, who knows where you go after hope is gone. But there's always that tiny speck that just keeps, like that little rabbit, keeps on ticking, or keeps on, what's that little rabbit, the ever ready bunny, or whatever the hell it is. The Energizer bunny. There you go. That's hope. It's got to keep you. You got to keep going.
Whatever. You know what? You can do a lot of good. You can let this be a positive experience instead of a negative experience.